Good morning, everyone. This is our 5th coffee chat, and you might want to get some coffee because we got some things to talk about. So this is our last coffee chat for this specific challenge group we've been doing, and this is week 5. So we've been on this for 5 weeks, and technically, I believe when this video publishes, we're gonna have 3 days left in our challenge, and then it is done. So I wanted to just give you a final coffee chat because when our challenge ends, I'm actually going to be going on a cruise to a couple places in Mexico, and I want you guys to be thinking about what we're gonna do next for our next challenge group. Now, I already have some ideas that I'm really excited about that I'll be putting on our Facebook group here pretty soon, but before we just finish this one and move on to the next one, I did want you to do some thinking because after you've had a wonderful experience, hopefully this has been a wonderful experience for you guys. It's been great for me. I've really enjoyed it. But I want you to spend some time really soaking in how you did and what needs to be changed for the next challenge, or where do you want to go after this challenge group. So I would love for you to evaluate, how are you doing? How did you do on this challenge? Did you notice areas that you really struggled with? Did you notice things that were really easy? Did you see any kind of patterns with yourself where maybe you would do good the first part of the week, but then as we kind of got towards the weekend, maybe your food choices became a little bit harder to control, or maybe you didn't do the exercises over the weekend because life just got too busy. So I really want you to take some time and evaluate, how did you do this challenge and how did you feel about that? Next one is, I'd love for you to see, how did you use your time? Did you use your time wisely in this challenge? Because this is 5 weeks. 31 days have passed. Well, technically not 31 when this is published, but yeah, no, we're close. So 31 days have passed. It's marked off the calendar. And did you use your time wisely? I know when you first got that calendar and I said 31 days, a lot of people were like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of days. But as we started to roll through those days, did you notice how fast they went? So how did you use your time? You might notice that you were really good in the first maybe 2 weeks of our challenge, and then your exercise and all of your stuff kind of fizzled off. Now, that's not abnormal, but it does show you where you need to focus and where you need to put in that work. And it's that way for everybody. Also, how did you do with doing the exercises? Did you find that if you missed it in the morning, it just didn't happen the rest of the day? Or did you notice that you were so much better doing it at night than trying to squeeze it in into the busy morning? So how did you do with that? So when you're finished with a program and you're ready to move on to the next one, I kind of like to break it up into a couple of categories. So the first one we're going to look into is fitness. How did this challenge go for you in the department of fitness? So did you notice any areas in your body that were super weak, that you didn't expect to see that weakness? So for example, me, let's just use me for the example. I really struggled with push-ups. Push-ups were really, really hard for me. And push-ups, that is using your chest muscles, is primarily where the strength is coming from there. So I notice in me, my chest muscles are very weak. So did you notice any areas in the exercises that you really struggled with? Did you notice maybe it was your legs, maybe it was your arms? Can you pinpoint a certain exercise or a certain movement that we did that you just really struggled with and had to, throughout the entire 31 days, have to do the modified version of that? That would be your area of weakness. So keep that in mind as we're moving forward through some of these questions. So the next one is your body composition. Now, I think for women, this is a really hard one for us. And this will involve you looking at your body and, I was gonna say the word judge, but that kind of has a bad connotation. So I want you to look at your body and critique it in a healthy way and not in a mean, hateful way. But I want you to critique your body and see what areas still need work. So this would mean you get in front of your mirror, take all your clothing off, and just look at yourself and see what areas in your body are areas that need more attention. So when we did our ab challenge, gosh, this was now almost 3 months ago, we did our ab challenge. When I did this, when I looked at my body composition, that area, my abdomen, my midsection, was the part that I was like, I'm just not thrilled with this area of my body. And that is why I created the ab challenge. And it was all based on me looking at my body and critiquing it gently, not meanly and out of hate for my body, but out of love, saying, where can I do a little bit more work? Where can I focus a little bit more exercise to shape it into what I want? So I want you to look at your body, and I want you to give yourself a good critique and say, you know what, this area could use a little bit more, this area could use a little bit more, and then pick the area that really gives you the most grief, meaning maybe it's the area that you feel really self-conscious about. And keep that in mind, because as we go through these questions, this is going to help you narrow down what kind of routine, what kind of workout would be best for you going forward once we finish this one. Because here's the thing, we're finishing this challenge group, but that doesn't mean that you're done with your healthy habits that you've been creating and your fitness routine, because now for 31 days you have been doing some form of activity every single day, and you don't want to lose that momentum, and you don't want to lose that wonderful healthy habit. So we got to go forward, we got to keep going. So another thing that I like to look at when I'm getting close to finishing the current routine or program I'm doing is I like to kind of see how I'm feeling. So am I ready to try something new, or maybe I'm ready to redo a program I just did. I didn't really get tired of it. I really enjoyed the exercise, the movements. So sometimes you might want to redo something that you've already done. So just kind of take a census of how you are feeling. Do you want to do something new, or are you ready to retry something? All right, so the next kind of category that I want you to look at is your nutrition. So how did you do overall throughout these 31 days? And if you've been part of our group and you printed off the booklet that kind of goes along with this routine, you had your areas where you could write your meals in. Did you use those? I actually use mine every single day, but here's where I noticed that I struggled on the weekends. Not necessarily, and it wasn't that my eating was bad, I just realized I did not journal as well. And I think it's just because weekends are just busy, they're about family, and so I wouldn't take as much time to write things down, or maybe I didn't have as much time to sit and write things down that I would during the week. So for me, that's one area that I really want to do better going forward, is making sure that I've got more of a plan for those weekends, because weekdays, those are easy. It's like I know what I'm eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I really just kind of have a system and a schedule, but the weekends, the schedule's not necessarily there, so I find that I really, really struggle with writing stuff down and getting in my water. On the weekends, it seems like that's where I fall apart. Not really fall apart, but you got me, right? You understand? Y'all with me, right? So, how did you do overall with your nutrition? Next one I want you to look at, and I just answered this one, is what was your biggest struggle that you noticed with your nutrition? Was it getting in your water? Was it having a meal plan? Was it sticking to your meal plan? Was it really just all of it? Because sometimes, let's face it, sometimes our workouts are on point and our nutrition is just off somewhere in left field and we don't even know how to get it back. So what was your biggest struggle with nutrition during this challenge group? And then my next question for you is, do you need to change something? If something's not working for you, you are not married to it, okay? You do not have to do keto for the rest of your life if it's not working. You do not have to do Weight Watchers for the rest of your life if it's not working for you. There are so many different forms and methods of eating and diets, and plans that you can try, that if you try something and it is just not working for you, try something else. Don't give up. You are worth this work. You are worth this effort. Because when you find something that works for you, it is wonderful. And that's how I feel about my keto. Now, I know everyone's not, whatever, and that's okay. But when I found keto, when I found this style of eating, it was like an aha moment, like the angels wanted to sing and the lights were coming down. Not really, but it was like it clicked. Everything that I was doing before, it's like, oh, this is what I was missing. So keep trying to find what works for you, because when I found this, it was like my weight started to finally come off and stay off. I wasn't diet yo-yoing anymore. I wasn't going up a couple of pounds and then losing a little bit and then going back up. It kind of got to a point where I was able to level it off. And then now, if I'm wanting to lose weight, I know exactly what to do to make the weight come off. And there's a lot of freedom in that. And I've talked, I think, throughout these coffee chats a lot about food freedom, because for me, somebody who has struggled with food addiction issues and just a plethora of stuff, there is just this peace in knowing I know how to eat. That's not the problem anymore. I know how to eat. I know exactly what to do if I'm needing to get some weight off. So with your nutrition, and now with your fitness diagnosis of yourself, you're going to have a pretty good picture of where you're wanting to go from here. What things need to be changed, what things need to be maybe focused on a little bit more, and you're going to already have kind of a rough outline of what we should do next. So the other area is just overall lifestyle, because even though this channel, which it kind of has been now for a while, this channel and these groups that I run are really about lifestyle, creating a lifestyle of balance and creating a lifestyle of health. So maybe evaluate, where are you in your lifestyle? Are there other habits that maybe aren't fitness and food related that need to be changed? And what can you do to change those things? Because, we're only here on earth for a short time, right? It's just a tiny little dot on this line. And you really want to make sure that you're using your time wisely and you're using your life as it should be used. So if there are some really bad habits in your lifestyle that need to be changed, do it. You're never too young, you're never too old to make those changes in your life. This is our last coffee chat for this challenge group. I hope you guys have enjoyed them. I actually really enjoy doing these as well. It got me thinking, and it's been fun to have these to listen back to. Until next time, have a wonderful morning. Enjoy a really good cup of coffee, because let's face it, life is short. Life is too short to drink bad coffee. I just want to throw that out there. Have you ever done that? Have you ever made yourself drink a bad cup of coffee because you're like, I don't want to waste this cup of coffee? Throw the coffee out and make a good cup of coffee. Anyways, good morning, and I'll talk with you guys soon.